Here we are. How's your audio? Audio check, you good? You with me?
I'm just waiting for my headset to click on real quick.
All right.
I think.
Mic check, 1, 2. Can anybody hear us out there? How do we sound in the audience? Can you hear us?
Mine's not coming through.
Oh man. Oh,
There we go.
there it is. All right. All right.
Do you want to give it a couple minutes, let some people join in?
We can do that, or we can just go ahead and get it rolling, man.
All right, cool. Let's do that. All right. So, what's going on, guys? Welcome to our first AA meeting here at Aquarium Addicts. This is your host, Tyler from Brit Aquatics.
All right. And this is your co-host, Manny, also known as Planted Aquarius Love.
And go ahead and give yourself a round of applause for being here.
I like it. I like it. I like it a lot.
All right, so this is going to be our introductory episode today. Just kind of giving you some highlights of what we're going to be doing here. And just want to throw it out there for everybody. This is our first time doing it, so it might be a little funky, but as we do this more, we get more people in on it. It's going to get better as we go. So just want to throw it out there. If you guys have any feedback for us, any questions, anything that you think that we should be doing, go ahead and send either myself, send Manny a DM, send the AA Aquarium Addicts Instagram a DM, so that way we can get that feedback and we can try and implement it. All right, let's go ahead and get started.
Right. So typically we're gonna start every meeting with an introduction for whoever our guest is gonna be on the show. Today, obviously, is just gonna be just me and Tyler. Pretty much going and getting in what the episodes are really gonna look like typically. But so normally we're gonna introduce our guests, big them up a little bit, give them their props, their love, and give them a chance, an opportunity to explain who they are a little bit, introduce themselves to us all, and give their piece as well. And then from there, we'll bring them on in, and jump right into the meeting.
So once we get everybody, introduced, we get them into the meeting, we'll go ahead and start the interview. Today, we're just going to go back and forth between Manny and myself, asking some of the questions that we're going to be asking in the interviews, so that way everybody has an idea of what we're going to be doing, questions we're going to be asking, and go from there. So to kick it off, Manny, why don't you go ahead and tell us what got you into the hobby and how long you have been in it?
So actually, that started because my 4-year-old daughter, who was 3 last year, hardcore during the pandemic, and we have dogs, so naturally we were going to the pet store to get some dog food and stuff, whatnot, things that we needed for our dogs. And she said, "Dad, I want to fish." So naturally, I'm like, "All right, sure." So what's the number of the fish? Everybody's first fish, a betta. Shout out to you, Cosmic Bettas. But so I got my daughter her fish, and me myself, I like to know exactly what's going on, what's the best way to do these things, and all I got was a 1-gallon, Princess Castle pink tank for the betta. So I started doing my research, and I'm thinking like, you know what? I'm causing this fish more harm than good. You know what I mean? Like they need a lot more space. They need better filtration, take mates, and all that. So from there on, it took off, man. I got a real big interest in the entire the whole fish keeping hobby. So for
So
the
you
most
said,
part, though, you good? I was gonna
yep.
say. So what got what's your favorite part of the hobby?
So I don't know. I think having some extra life in the house. This is something that we get to see. We get to interact with these fish on a daily basis.
Right.
Myself, I have kids as well. So getting to see my kids interact with the fish, all the time as well. Going over there, playing with them, trying to get them to follow the fingers, feeding them, and being able to teach them a little bit, responsibility. as we go through it. So I think that's definitely my biggest piece on why I enjoy keeping fish. Not to mention the beautiful. You have a hard day of work, you can come, sit down, de-stress, relax while you're looking at them.
Yeah.
So it's all good. There's so many different reasons why keeping fish is an amazing hobby. So yeah, I think that one is my biggest piece.
Heard that.
So Manny, what is your favorite fish and favorite plant that you keep at the moment?
All right, so that I keep at the moment, my favorite fish has to be my paradise fish. Love the paradise fish. We named him Mr. Miyagi. Um, I was doing some research, and I believe they're saying that the paradise fish is the first recorded fish in the fish keeping hobby, X amount of however many years ago. You know what I mean? Which is exciting for me because it's also a beautiful fish. But I love my paradise fish. Favorite plant is my Alternantherian Reineke, which is the AR. They look like cardinal reds, but it's the red plant that I keep. Love those plants. They're very beautiful. I mean, they grow very, very fast. They're easy to keep also. So it brings more color into all my aquariums. I make sure I have one in every one of my tanks, except my newest project. But outside of that, every tank has them. So yeah, that's my favorite fish, my favorite plant that I'm keeping now. Outside of that, I'm not keeping. I think everybody knows my favorite fish is discus. That is my all-time favorite fish, and I can't wait to get my hands on a few. How many tanks do you have?
So currently I have a total of 10 tanks. I've got the 125, that is my South American community cichlid tank. I've got a 65-gallon tank that was housing my angels before I lost a few of them. But
Right.
I've got the angels, rainbows, gouramis, everybody in there. I've got two 75s. One houses Trixie, my flower horn. I know a lot of people have seen her. She's a beautiful fish. I've got this guy right here. That is my my African tank. I have all sorts of Malawi cichlids in there. And then I got, the 55 grow out tank. Right now I got a couple bonsai flower horns, as well as some firemouth and a blood parrot in there. Trying to get them to grow out a little bit before I add them into the 125. And then I got this tank right here that, to be honest, is an absolute mess. Need to get some trimming done on it.
Right.
This is probably one of the coolest tanks that I have. The Fluval Flex 32.5-gallon tank. I've got a 29-gallon tank and a 20-gallon tank that are housing a boatload of jewel cichlid babies right now.
Nice.
I got a guy up in Tucson that's interested in potentially selling them in his shop, so trying to get some breeding going there. And then I got 3 axolotl tanks.
I love it.
I got the male tank, the female tank, and then I have our juvies in a tank. So once we're able to sex them, then we can go ahead and get them, divvied up into the other 2. That way we're not having any accidental babies.
Yeah. We don't want that for sure.
Yeah. So from here, this is where we're going to go ahead and ask you, Manny, to do a little bit of show and tell. And can you give us a breakdown of the tanks that you do have, your routine, your stocking, water changes, chemicals, all that kind of stuff that you do with your tanks?
All right, no problem. So, first of all, let's turn this around here. This one here, forgive the glare, it is very, very bright down here. I don't have anything to cover up the windows, but this is my 55-gallon setup, which is pretty much my South American aquarium. It's got my angels. I got three cockatoides in here, 2 golden rams. I do have a single gourami in here. I got some corridors in here, flush with all kinds of plants. Quite a few tank mates between neon tetras, orange Von Rio tetras. I got a couple of rummy nose tetras, some brilliant rasboras in here. I mean, you name it. If it's supposed to go with the cleaning crew or with the fish, they're pretty much in here. But this is actually one of my all-time favorite setups right now. Underneath it, I got my axolotl, who I got from yours truly. As you can see, he just went up for some air just now, trying to get back down there. So, yeah, shout out to you, British Products, for the axolotl in here. So this is my 20 long. and I'm definitely enjoying this one. As a matter of fact, I said something that I didn't mean earlier. I said, well, those red plants are in all my tanks. This one doesn't have one either. I try to put it in here, but for some reason, Fireball over there, the axolotl, keeps uprooting the plant, which is quite hilarious, but that's okay. Just wasn't meant to be, right? So in here, I have one of my betta tanks. Shout out to you, Cosmic Bettas. So I have where is she at? I believe it's a female. Oh, I think she's over here in the corner. She is. So I think she's quite beautiful. I don't know exactly what kind of betta she is. When I got her in a tank full of angels. So naturally, the two angels came home as well. So they didn't have one of those the little cups that they were in. This was actually an actual, like, a tank in a fish store with multiple other fish. So yeah, I think she needs to come home. In here, I got my beautiful male betta inside here with this awesome new scape that I got from Higer Aquariums. So I'm super excited about this. He is definitely doing a full recovery. I had him with the betta over here together, and she was just so aggressive. She took, like, the majority of his tail off, and as you can see, his tail is growing back wonderfully. Like, you can't even tell that they're even in any altercation whatsoever. So this is actually my 8-gallon aquarium, which fits only 6.5 gallons of water. Consider the 3D background that it has. Gotta love that. This right here is one of my 30 gallons. I can't show the one upstairs. That's actually my teenager's room, who is actually relaxing right now. Doesn't feel so well, so I'll keep it down here. But this is my Paradise Fish tank. And there he goes right there. He's being shy right now, but that's all right. I think they're such beautiful fish. I love his flame look-like tail. And as you can see, the plants are pretty much the same in every single tank that I have. I have the hornwort, I have the water wisteria, I have water sprite, the alternate there in Ranki. I got the Java ferns everywhere. And what I love about these plants is every single one of these come from my tank upstairs. Like, I didn't just go buying plants and buying plants and buying plants. They grow so fast in my 30-gallon upstairs that I fill every single one of my tanks up with all these plants. So you have this 30. Oh, there he goes. He came out to play, Mr. Miyagi.
And then right when he saw you, he ran away.
As soon as he saw me, yep. So I have, I love my snails. I love my tank mates. I love my canoe. This is the only tank that I have a frog in. My African dwarf frog. I think he's pretty dope. So my newest project, which I didn't really want to show just yet, but I'll give it a whirl. This is my 75-gallon tank. This is my catch and keep tank. Pretty much, it's a native sunfish bluegill tank. But I just so happen to have one more in here that wasn't a sunfish bluegill, which is that sheephead right there. Outside of that, everything you see here is all wild caught, from the sand to the plants to all the rocks, the wood. Everything came from Lake Erie area or the rivers of, here in Cleveland, Ohio. But I'm loving the way the setup is right now. I have one more light coming for this tank, which is the same light that I have here. I usually run all night crew lights, but this one, I wanted to do two small ones. So I have this one here that's on it right now, which is 1824. So that's on this one right here. But I have another one that I was going to be able to change from red to green to blue, combine the colors, and, that way whenever I want to, I can have one half of the tank just blue and the other half of the tank whatever other color. So it'll be, mixed colors down here. You know what I mean? Pretty much adding more color to the fish room, which I love doing that. So outside of that, planted, stonework. I try to keep everything all natural, except for I get a lot of crap about this gravel here. I mean, everybody wants to kill me every time they see this gravel. They're like, oh my God, you got this horrible gravel in that beautiful scape aquarium. Get it out of there. I promise everybody, I will get it out. I will get it out. I promise that. But that is just a little preview of what's going on in my fish room down here.
Now, a couple of things that I want you to touch on for us.
Okay.
One, how often do you do your water changes, water top-offs, that side of things? And then I know you got up here right above you got a nice display of the different additives and chemicals that you use. So can you give us a little bit about both of those topics?
Yeah, absolutely. So I do water changes once a week. on all my tanks.
Okay.
So
Okay.
it's usually either a Saturday or Sunday. It depends on what day I have the most free time to do so. Because once I start doing them, it's like Pringles. Once you pop, you can't stop. I want to get it all done. Because if you stop, if anybody feels like I feel, once you stop, man, let me tell you, the motivation is gone. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So once I start, I try to get them all done out the way. It's a lot of water. So I do water changes between, depends on how big the tank is or how bad the nitrate levels are, between 30 to 40 or 30 to 50% water change every week. I usually dose them with microblift products, which I absolutely love. If anybody's ever wondering, because I get a couple comments on videos like, what is he putting in there? That's a whole lot. Well, let me tell you, this water conditioner is great. This phosphorus, whenever you're low on phosphorus or phosphates, you definitely got to add this. I got the all-in-one Bloom and Groom, makes my plants lush, beautiful. Gotta love it. Anytime I'm putting new fish in, I always add just a little bit of beneficial bacteria,
Okay.
just to keep them a little more happier and started going. Even though all my tanks are already cycled, but every time I add fish, I like to add just a little bit to it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
My plants need nitrates. If any reason my nitrates are down, this is what I use to dose them with to add some nitrates to it. So
Okay.
then I have the fish care, which makes sure that my fish stays healthy. It prevents all kind of any negatives that they can have between parasites or diseases. It helps prevent that from happening all through and through. So I make sure I dose this in all my tanks, the proper amount of doses per how many gallons of water. Same thing with my special blend with the water care. Water care is helping to keep all that crap out of it. You never know what's going to what we put into our tanks. And if like myself, I don't quarantine. I don't have a quarantine
Yeah.
tank anymore. All my tanks are all filled up. Eventually, I will get a quarantine tank, but unless my fish are like sick and in need of some actual special care, I don't feel the need to quarantine them. So the places that I get all my fish from, I trust how long their process. I trust their process. How long the fish has been in their store, how many times they parasite them, deworm them. I make sure the fish are good before I bring them home. You know what I mean? And then I make
Yeah.
sure that to match the temperatures of waters. Like this is my tropical tank. I keep the water at 83 degrees in here. You know what I mean? So where this is my paradise fish tank, my cold water tank, I like to keep this between 65 and 68 degrees. Same thing with the axolotl down there. So all my temperatures are really different. My betta tanks I like to keep at 77, 78 degrees, 1 and 2. So it all depends on the tank, but the special blend water care definitely helps with that. Iron, definitely
Okay.
great for plants as well, especially if you have red plants. I definitely want to make sure that all my reds are getting all the love. I like the way they look from all underneath. This one here, you can tell this one's actually blooming very, very well. God, I feel like this
Definitely.
camera does it no justice right now. But if I also pull one out of the water and just twirl it around, you'll see how it's almost like real extremely pink. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that is what I definitely use. Gotta love Microbliv. Gotta love them. Big shout out to them. And shout out to you, Vicky. They absolutely do sponsor me, so I'm very excited about that. And then,
Nice.
yeah, that's pretty much what I'm doing with my tanks weekly.
That's nice. That's a nice setup. You got a good routine. That's dope, bro. That looks good. Everything looks
Appreciate it.
great over
Appreciate
here.
it. So my question to you is, what is your dream fish and your dream setup?
Ooh. So dream fish. I think I have the majority of what I want. I think there's a few different things that I'd want to add to my 125. Add in maybe a tire track eel, a datinoid, maybe some flagtails, help with that algae control. But I think at this point, my next dream setup would be setting up another 125-gallon tank. I have the one on one side of my TV. I'd like to have the other one on the other side of the TV, and I'd love to be able to take this 75-gallon with all my Malawi cichlids and get them into a bigger tank. Be able to set up like a really really nice hardscape, and canister filters, the whole 9 yards.
Oh
Being
yeah.
able to get a bigger tank for them, better lighting, better tank all the way around, just to be able to display all the great colors that are coming from the Malawi cichlids would be dope. So that way I'd have the big fish on one side with the South American cichlids, my Oscar, all of that, and then we'd have all the colorful on the other side with the Malawi African cichlids.
Heard that, man. I like it. I like it. Heard that.
Thank you, discus all day, reef all night. Datnoids are dope. They're pretty crazy
Yeah.
looking fish, and they, from what I've done, a little bit of research on them, they do really good with, what I got in there already. So it'll just be a nice way to add a little bit more of a different species in there, a little bit different texture, look of the fish. So it'd be pretty
Right.
dope. Same thing with that eel.
I want to give a couple shots real quick. One shout out to Vicky. I did not get Little Wiggy yet, or I did not get the Red Blue floaters yet. I will be getting them soon. I got a boost plant order that I'm starting to put together. So when I order it, I want to get them all at the same time. Shout out to my son. I see my son FW Manny in here earlier. Yeah. So typically, so what we're gonna do is when we have a guest on the show, I'm gonna play a little game called Fish Run with them, where I'm gonna name a couple things. A long category of things where either saltwater, freshwater, rather different kind of fish species between saltwater or between freshwater, and so the guest is gonna have 3-4 seconds to answer it to see which one is their favorite one, and from there on we'll do about 10 to 15 questions. You think make it interesting?
Yeah, that sounds good.
I think that's a good idea. And I'm gonna make sure that I do my due diligence on every one of you guys, especially you, Ray. I see you, Ray. I see you're both saltwater and freshwater. I cannot wait to give you the fish run. That's going to be exciting, man. All right, man.
All right, so that's really what we're going to be looking at. Just going through. Really want to bring people in the community together, all over the U.S. Hopefully, be able to jump over, hit some, Canada, Mexico, try and get other countries in on it. I know we've got some time differences from getting over to Europe and whatnot over there, but really just want to try and connect us, have a little bit of fun, and see where that goes. We're going to be doing these AA meetings every 2 weeks. As of right now, we're going to stick to having them at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I'm so sorry. Mountain Standard Time, 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And then, like I said, it's just going to be a place for everybody to connect, learn, and just grow within the hobby. There's a lot for us to give back. I know a lot of us learn quite a bit from the different people that we interact with here on Instagram. It's a great community, better than some of the other platforms that are out there. So again, if anybody has any questions or different topics that they might want us to bring up on here, shoot us a DM, shoot the AA Aquarium Addicts Instagram a DM, so that way we can keep it up. Like I said, we'll try and get them implemented. Yeah, I think that's pretty much about it. But I do want to go ahead and announce, like I said, next episode, August 29th, 2 weeks from now, we will be having discus all day, reef all night on here with us.
Yeah, I like it.
Yeah. Like Manny said, he is, into saltwater. He is into freshwater, so he's going to have a lot to bring us, a lot to show off, and really just looking forward to being able to get to know him a little bit better and see what he's got to bring. So, Manny, do you have anything else that you want to say before we get out of here?
As a matter of fact, I want to say thank you to everybody who's watching right now. I've seen quite a few people. Devin, my sister Darlene just hopped in. I think I've seen the reels from Shady in there. So it's like I'm excited to see what we got going on here. People, in the comments, in the chats, interacting right back with us. I'm loving the way this feels right now. So I'm just excited to keep the ball rolling, man. Let's keep it going, and we'll see you guys already in 2 weeks.
One last thing before we get off, we are starting to fill up pretty quick on the amount of people that are wanting to jump in on this with us. So if this is something that you want to do, something you want to get out there, whether it be to get your name out there a little bit more, whether it be to just share, connect with us, go and shoot us, either myself, like I said, Planted, AA, send us a DM, and we'll see what we can get you guys in for. All right.
Also, for those who are coming in late, we will be saving these on the IGTV. We will putting them in the highlights in both my channel, his channel, and our channel together, which is the AA Aquarium Addicts. So they'll be in all the highlights. We'll have the IGTV saved up, so you won't be able to miss it. Don't worry about it. You can go back, rewatch it, and pretty much get ready for the next one.
All right, there we go. Hope you all have a wonderful rest of your Sunday, and we'll see you in 2 weeks.
All right.